Hey guys, and welcome back into our new segment we're doing this year, 100 Yards with Stephen Hargis. And today we're at Marion County High School with head coach Joey Mathis. Joey, thank you for taking time out. I know you guys got practice here.
Yes, sir. Just workout, summer workout.
Summer workouts coming up, so we're going to get started so you can get to that.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we're at a place, there's a lot of tradition here, and you're a big part of that most recent success. First as offensive coordinator, then as head coach when you guys played for 3 straight state championships.
Yes.
What's it like to be at a program where the expectations are off the charts every year like that?
Well, you know, I say what makes Marion County tough is what makes it great. You know, you don't want to be somewhere where there's no expectation and the community really doesn't care. They're involved, and make no mistake about it. I know they're involved, but you know, you're surrounded by Pittsburgh, and now Whitwell's won a state championship. So, you know, we compete for championships around here, and that's our expectation, regardless of the record, regardless of anything that goes on. The tradition remains, and we want to honor that tradition and putting a good team on the field.
Speaking of tradition, this year, I know you guys not a big senior class.
Right.
A lot of guys, we won't even talk about the number of starters back, but a lot of guys with experience. And just how big that is to have that experience coming back, and then some of the kids you're expecting big things from this year.
Well, you know, I tell them all the time, I can give you helmet, I can give you shoulder pads, I can give you cleats, but I can't give you experience. So a lot of those kids do have experience, and they're coming back, and we're glad to have them. Great team chemistry so far, which goes a long way in high school athletics. But you know, we do have a lot of returners that may not have started the game but had huge impacts on games last year, and that's really what it's about, because you know, a lot of times your ones don't win the game. It's those 2s and 3s that provide the depth that do it for you. So we do got a lot coming back, excited about what got coming back, and you know, yet to be determined on some of them, but we'll get there sooner than later.
Are there any guys in particular that you've been really impressed with through workouts or some of the early season stuff?
You know, the same ones that we had, you know, Michael Showalter, Tay, Ant. I mean, you know, I could name, when you have a bunch of like we do, we got about 65 kids, and when you have that many that contribute, you know, we've got so many that have been consistent, that have been there, that I would leave one out if I started to name them all. You know?
I got you. Now, one of the things I've always admired about you and your program is not just the way that you guys teach these guys to be good football players, but there's a program aside from that where you're teaching them about the academics and how to be good fathers and good husbands later on in life. Talk about just why that's so important to you to kind of teach these guys like the life skills once they're out in the community.
Well, it's so important to me because I'm a product of high school coaches. I'm probably unusual in the fact if I had 3 high school coaches in my wedding. And you know, and they just raised me, and I can't even tell you our records when I played at Calhoun, but I can tell you that those men impacted my life. And you know, when you talk to kids nowadays, being a kid right now is so hard. In my opinion, it's so hard because you're pulled in so many directions, but there's so much good about high school football that you really never hear about. So many programs have coaches and men that impact thousands and thousands and thousands of kids, but you know, you can take a kid, show him what's out there, give him the tools and equip himself to be successful, and you can change not only his life, but you can change generations. And when you look at things that way, you know, wins and losses, they're gonna fade. Nobody can remember your records and that kind of thing, but they'll remember the man, the citizen, and the way you made them feel. You know, the husbands, and when these kids come back, unbelievable feeling when they walk out here with their kid, or you see them 5 years from now and they've all, you know, some of them have put on a lot of weight, some of them have lost some, but you wish they looked like that when they played, but they're good men, and they you know, they're successful, and they're not just laid up and sorry, you know, and not contributing to society. So you want to impact those kids, and so many times high school sports, you know, are so more important than a win or a loss, and you just got to remember that daily. And what kids get here, some kids get here on a daily basis, and it's a win when they get here, you know, and that can't be judged on a scoreboard. So it's just so much more than a win or a loss. And you know, I enjoy the kids, I enjoy the process, and I really love seeing those kids come back with a college degree or a military service, and we've got so many examples of that. And you know, you forget that you're raising young men. You know, that's the biggest thing. You are helping raise young men, and we want to treat them, you know, with respect and show them what it's like. And our coaches are tied as a staff, and you know, our kids, my kid, Coach Moore's kids, all our kids are welcome here every day, because we want those kids to be an example to ours. Right. And it just so much, and I can talk about that for days, but you know, that just means so much more to me than anything when you get text or you get, you know, postcards from being wherever. But that's it, and it's no more than anything that thousands of high school coaches are doing across the country, and so many in this area. But you know, that's kind of not what makes news stories at times, you know, that daily aspect of the grind.
But I mean, it's something, and it's true, because anytime I come by here to visit, you know, to work on stories or just to stop by and see how things are going with you guys, seems like there's always a former player either in your office or when you guys are out here working out, stop by on his way through. You know, he'll stop by and see his parents. But the second stop they make is here to talk with you guys.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of that relationship that you've built with them, and I mean that's always been really impressive to me is to see what you've meant in those guys' lives.
Well, we appreciate that, and we build that, and we preach family. And, you know, we say the field house is a house, and it's called a house for a reason. And we always want our family to be there. But, you know, it's just a culture that we try to create, and we welcome those kids. And, you know, those good relationships aren't formed when you're 13 and 2. You know, they're formed on a July, you know, June or July Saturday, you know, or Sunday or Monday or Tuesday when life is really going on with these kids. And, you know, and that's when they're formed. You know, when they're not acting right in that classroom and you got to chew that tail or run them after practice. That's when those relationships are formed. Because, you know, I read a book recently, and kids spell love T-I-M-E. You know, it's not all the money and the things that we can go raise and give them, and it's not the socks that are cleats. How much time can I spend with them? How do I impact their life? How do they impact mine on a daily basis? So we welcome those kids back, love those kids coming back, you know, hug them up and can't wait to see them, and so glad for their success and proud of the men that we're putting out.
Joey, last thing, you guys don't lose much here, but who would you say the community, as serious as they take football, the community gets more mad at, you and the staff if and when you guys lose a game, or me and our staff when you guys win a game and we're not there to cover it?
Hey, you got me last year when we charged you to get in. You know, that was a mishap of charging the media to get in, and you know, I don't know. I guess people don't know. Stephen and I will eat breakfast at times, but always a big supporter. He's spread so thin. I'm gonna say they get more mad at me when we lose than they do at you. You know, I think by nature they don't like you from where you graduated from, but. I'm a transplant here, but no, you know, like I said, what makes it great is what makes it tough.
Absolutely.
You know, the expectation is here, but who wants to go somewhere where there's no pressure?
Absolutely.
And that keeps me motivated. That keeps our staff motivated. That keeps our kids working hard, and you know, it's fun. You know, you can't let it consume you,
right?
Because it can.
Right.
It can, because you're around it 24/7, 365 here, and so we're in good shape.
All right, guys. Listen. Thanks again to Joey for being with us.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for your time. Guys, we will see you again on another segment of 100 Yards with Stephen Hargis.